NewsNation for our own show March 1st. We're putting her to work early tonight because of this extraordinary news. She's joining us now via Zoom. Ashleigh, what is your top line? One, thanks for working early. I assume you're home watching, like the rest of us, this all unfold. What is your top line reaction? You've been in the business a long time. Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
The answer is no, and I'm not alone. And I have a top line that bounces right off what you just said. What took so long? Why did this happen? Why are we only seeing this kind of a show of force now? And there may be a good reason for that. All hands on deck needed to be inside that building securing 50 men and women whose lives were in danger. So where the senators had to sequester either in place in cupboards, under desks, in offices, that became the priority. You saw the guns drawn, you saw the barricades that the security had to put across the Senate chamber doors. You saw the glass being broken so that those could breach the Senate chamber. All of those senators needed to be rushed with the fastest pace into security zones. So all of the security personnel that existed within 100 yards of that building, that was priority one. It's why you didn't see them. It's why it looked like there was only a handful of Capitol Police. Number two, only the Capitol Police were on deck for this event. This event is pro forma. This event has never been like this. Yes, the president said something that might encourage people to march on the Capitol. There was no inclination that it would be like this. Perhaps that's the folly that will be assessed as we go forward, and there will be massive changes and heads will roll. But at least we know why. We didn't see a lot of visible law enforcement outside and in camera purview. They were protecting people whose lives were virtually at stake. Why were their lives at stake? The magnetometers and all the security devices that are in place on the Capitol, you, me, senators, aides, all have to go through every day. Those were breached. Nobody was walking through a magnetometer. Any kind of weapon in a state that allows it, in a protectorate that allows it, in the Capitol that allows it, anybody could carry any weapon into that chamber. They were at the chamber doors and the glass was breached. It doesn't take more than one semi-automatic to take out a number of lives. That was priority number one. Now you got to ask me, how is this going to take so long? Why are there so many people, and where are they, and where's everyone stationed, and what's the strategy? It is now a room, by closet, by corner, by desk sweep. They literally have to cover every square foot of the Capitol building with security forces so that they don't have that lone gunman with a high-powered rifle who has his sights set on pick your senator. So that is going to take an enormous amount of time. And the senators are not safe until that happens. Think of a school lockdown, how long it takes to get the kids out. You have to sweep every possible sniper area and sequestered area. I hope this is starting to make sense, and I know I'm going on a long time. But your next question to me, I hope, is going to be, what is in it for these people on the screen? All these people who have taken their masks down and blatantly decided, I am not afraid to show who I am, they are on camera. Every news camera, every Instagram, every Facebook that you can see them all recording and going live, every single part of the Capitol building is on surveillance. There is so much visible evidence right now that will be combed minusculely, and we will find people, actual identities, who will be prosecuted. And this is not small. This is not marching after curfew. These are federal crimes, and I can list them all for you. However, I don't have enough time on this broadcast. I can just tell you that right now they are facing probably one of the more serious areas of the law, and that is U.S. Code 1752. Okay? And there are myriad different sections in that law that could garner up to 30 years of incarceration for some of the infractions that we are actually seeing on tape. That is good evidence in court. And I am very worried for many of these people who may have been swept up in a movement, in an excitement, unaware of the enormity of their actions. These are federal crimes. These are not break and enters. These are not curfew violations. These are federal crimes. This is obstruction of justice. That alone will get you 20. And if these crimes run sequential, you could be imprisoned for 50 to 60 years. I cannot impart upon our audience more what is happening with these people, regardless of their emotion, regardless of whether you agree with how they feel. They are angry. They have their right to be angry. We all do. We don't have the right to destroy property and to breach federal property and to endanger the lives of federal officials. We do not have the right to endanger or chase federal police officers. We do not have the right to brandish weapons against a federal police officer. That can be a stick, that can be a flag. There is a world of hurt, I am sad to report, for thousands of people who engaged in what you're watching right now.
Ashleigh, we, as always, appreciate your perspective on this and your experience. And I just want to update folks at home and also get your reaction to some of the responses that we're receiving, starting with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. She says, quote, and this is on Twitter, "I join President-elect Joe Biden in calling for the assault on the Capitol and our nation's public servants to end, and as he said, allow the work of democracy to go forward." I'll piggyback on that. Chuck Grassley said today, "The violent attack on the U.S. Capitol was an attack on American democracy itself." My question to you is, as President-elect Joe Biden watches this, the country is divided. You have 70+ million people who did not vote for Joe Biden, of which many of those showed up today to protest. What happens now to the process as we are just 14 days shy of the inauguration, the transition of power, and by all accounts, President Trump still not relinquishing control or conceding this election? What happens now?
I want to rest assured for the viewers who are watching, it may be unpleasant, but the process will continue, okay? It may be joyous, it may be unpleasant. This process is not going to be thwarted. January 20th will happen, the inauguration will happen. Maybe it won't happen outside. Maybe those risers are damaged. Maybe the Capitol Police, the Metropolitan, Washington Police, and the National Guard realized maybe we didn't think this through and we don't have enough plan time, to get in motion for January 20th. It will happen. If it has to happen via Zoom, it will happen. That's the law. It's the Constitution. Again, love it or hate it. But rest assured, for the majority of our viewers right now, I don't believe the majority of our viewers enjoy seeing a Wendy's burned down. And I don't believe the majority of our viewers like to see the Capitol building having a crowbar taken to some of those windows and have enjoy watching Capitol security having to brandish their weapons as the windows to the chamber are being broken down. So rest assured, for the majority of you who are not happy with what you're seeing on either side of this polarization, you are okay. The process will continue. Our bigger bet is to figure out how we bring these very, very polarized sides together and the radical sides together. The people who are radical amongst the Trump supporters you're seeing now are not representative of all Trump supporters. The people who are radical who burned down a Wendy's are not radical of all Democrats. There are more of us. There are more of us who see all sides. So I think that should assuage your worry and hopefully bring your angst down. In the meantime, we have a bigger deal today. And we have a soul searching today, knowing that this doesn't happen in America. I am heartbroken to think of what those in Azerbaijan are thinking. I am heartbroken to think about what those in Afghanistan are thinking, or in the Congo. And they're looking at Americans who always have been the shining hill on, the shining, city on the hill, pedantically maybe telling the world, this is what you need to ascribe to be. That picture is not what you need to ascribe to be. And I think many of them are suggesting that we need to reassess who we are. This is wrong, and we all know it, but there will be consequences for this. And there will be utterly dangerous and punishing consequences for it. I am worried that many of these people who are fair to have their opinion were not aware of the severity of their actions, of the criminality of their actions. They may have just felt it was a march.
Ashleigh, do you think this will be a seminal moment in more ways than one? I'm curious about what you think will happen when Congress reconvenes to continue the process that started early this morning. Do you think this changes the tenor of anything?
Yes, 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 and yes. And I'll tell you why. Maybe not before 3 o'clock Eastern, but Ted Cruz had to be pulled to the floor of the Senate well, and gunmen had to escort him into a safe chamber. And that happened to Nancy Pelosi. And that happened to, Hirono. That happened to congressmen who were in the gallery. That happened to senators who were in the well, whether they were Republican or whether they were Democrat, whether they ascribed to the vote and the protest in the Senate today or whether they didn't. But it came to their back door. And then it broke down their back door. And then it was in their living room. And when they ran upstairs to hide under their master bedroom bed, they were in the bedroom with guns. There is nothing more chastening than knowing your personal life is at stake because of the words you use. So I suspect there will be a real come to Jesus moment among everybody. I mean, I hope, and I hope I'm not Pollyanna here, but I do suspect that because the guns came so close to all parties concerned, there will be a caucus where all parties want to partake. And I do believe this will be a seminal moment, like you suggested, where at least the tenor, at least the rhetoric will be assuaged because they know the power of it.